Forgive us when we're not perfect and we don't live up to the ideals that our nation is founded upon. Instead, lead us to remember we exercise our freedom to speak, to believe, to defend, to own, because those rights were endowed by you, our Creator. Help us to never forget, take for granted, or minimize those rights. Protect our armed forces as they defend these ideals across our world. Give us wisdom and courage to our fellow elected officials, especially our state officials who have returned to represent us in Frankfurt this session. Cover us all in the safety of your sovereign protection as we move through this agenda tonight and as we return to our families. It is in your Son's name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have to say that maybe one of the best prayers we've had and the best reciting of his pledge we've had in a long time. So fantastic. First off, again, those of you who don't typically come to fiscal court meeting, welcome. You're welcome back, even if it's another issue that's coming forward. So you're always welcome to come out once a month for your independence or once a month for your Covington. So you're always welcome, and look forward to seeing your faces in the future. We are going to take care of two quick items before we discuss, I think, what many of you have come to discuss, or at least to hear this evening. So our first item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from December the 10th. Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Also, the approval of our minutes from our special meeting December 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. In addition, this evening we had on our agenda, we were going to open up the box that had been removed from the old courthouse at 303 Court Street. That's on the agenda. We're actually going to hold that off and do that on December 21st. So if anyone's here to actually watch that, please come and see the cornerstone opening here on the 21st in Covington. Pardon? I say December. Yeah, we're in a new month, new year. Sorry about that. January 21st. In addition, so we're going to go ahead and address the resolution 20-02, and this is declaring Kenton County a Second Amendment sanctuary. Before we do that, though, we're going to have citizens address. I also need to ask our sheriff who would like to make a comment, and then also State Representative Maddox is here to come forward if you'd like to make a comment, Sheriff.
I just want to thank the judge and the fiscal court for the support they gave me when I brought this up to them. There was no opposition. It's been a pleasure to serve with these people for the last 4.5 years. They know what the Constitution is about and what the Bill of Rights is about. They have supported me in all my projects of this nature, and I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome. Thank you so much, Judge and Commissioners.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate that. And Representative Maddox, would you like to come to the mic?
Good evening. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Sherri and I represent the southern half of Kenton County, Grant County, a little bit of Boone County, and northern Scott County. And I just first and foremost want to thank the Kenton County Fiscal Court for bringing this resolution forward. I couldn't be more proud of you all for your willingness to bring this tonight as an effort to affirm the Second Amendment rights of Kenton County. And it's so imperative at this juncture that we're at with the recent onslaught of anti-Second Amendment legislation that we're seeing, not just in Kentucky, but around the nation. I know that within the State House, there's very little likelihood that any of those bills are going to move, in so much as we've had discussions about red flag laws and bans on semi-automatic rifles and high-capacity magazines and things of that nature. And as far as I'm concerned, none of those bills or bill requests will move at this point, but still, it is so important to unite at the local level and rally around this issue. And I applaud all of you all for being vigilant about this, because it's important to unite, to send a message to your state and your federal government that the right to keep and bear on shall not be infringed. So I just want to thank all of you and thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all right, on our agenda, we have a citizen address, and a few people have signed up to address the court. A few of you have come in a little bit later, so if you would like to, feel free to be acknowledged, and we can get your name on the list. To that end as well, for those who are standing in the hallway as you know is coming in, or for those who for some reason can't hear or see in here, there we do have the TV and audio outside to make sure that people can see us, so feel free to move where you need to go. In addition to that, I did want to address a couple of things real quick for those who signed up to speak. Typically, what we do when those who address the court, we do not get into a banter back and forth between those who have the right to address the elected officials here, number one. We would also ask people to keep it to a 3-minute maximum of comment. We would also ask you, of course, and I really appreciate already, that to respect everyone's opinions if they feel the time, given time to speak to the court, whether you agree or disagree, and not to respond to any applause or comments from the crowd. I really appreciate that as well. And in particular, if your comment is made and someone has made it before you, and you feel like that comment's been made, we would ask you not to just repeat the same comments as well, in respect of everybody's time this evening. So with that said, we do have some requests. We're going to address, I think, Mr. Starshock has offered to like to address the court. I can give you the mic. Would you like to?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Test. That's right. We planned for everything except for dead battery.
Don't have the 3 minutes,
See what you did there. Yeah, it's my fault. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody here. Thanks, the commissioners, Judge Executive, and the rest of you here. Walt Starshock, I'm the firearms liaison with the National Rifle Association of Crestview Hills. And I want to thank everybody in this room as well, all of us in here that are Second Amendment supporters. We are right now, and this is really a test year in 2020. In 2019, Kentucky and Virginia have been the test cases for what we're going to see in 2020. So it's so important now, more than anything, that all strong men and women get together and support our constitutional right to the Second Amendment. We have the God-given right, and we have the Second Amendment right in order to keep our firearms, and we will do whatever is necessary to keep it and to preserve all of our constitutional rights that we have within not only Kenton County, but the rest of the Commonwealth as well. So I thank you for considering and approving this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Cole? David Cole? Yes, sir. Please come to the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. I just want to, by means of introduction, my name is Dave Cole. I've been a resident of Kenton County now for 25 years. I'm a former Army officer, former police officer, SWAT officer, NRA Life Endowment member, Second Amendment Foundation member, and NRA certified instructor in several disciplines. And just to lend a personal note to this, I actually have a personal friend that I've known for almost 40 years who finds himself through his involvement in his local government as a city councilman and vice mayor in Virginia in the struggle and the fight that they're in for their Second Amendment rights, which came about because of the complacency of the electorate, the voters in that Commonwealth, low turnout in support of the Second Amendment in the last round of elections. Complacency caused that crisis. And I think we're very fortunate that complacency isn't the issue here. And I just want to reiterate what Representative Maddox said, that it's very important that we keep that energy up, because we've seen thousands and thousands of people show up at town council meetings, at county commission meetings in Virginia now, fighting to keep their Second Amendment rights. And imagine what would have happened had that energy been brought before the last round of elections. So I think we're very fortunate we have a county commission considering this resolution, and I thank you in advance for your yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for mispronouncing it, but June, is it Deneen? Yes.
Thank you for having me. My concern is Amendment gives people the right to bear arms. That's been reiterated time and time again. So why did this come up? Who brought this resolution? I looked in the minutes and the agenda. I saw nothing that was online that showed when this was brought up, when it was discussed, and now here it's up for a vote of resolution. I'm perplexed. I don't understand why this has to be. Why it's even happening. People have the right to bear arms. The people who are looking for sensible gun regulation are looking to make sure that people are registered, that they follow the rules, that responsible people are permitted to have guns, and that's their guaranteed right. So why are we making a political issue out of something that is basically a non-issue? That's my comment. And I would propose that this resolution be withdrawn.
Thank you very much. Mr. Stephenson, trustees. Would you like to,
I'll go over this.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here with you this evening. I come as a, I guess, somewhat unique person. I taught advanced government in American history at the high school level, and then went on to be with Congressman Breckinridge and later Commissioner of Motor Vehicles, and later the last elected Superintendent of Education for the state of Kentucky. I don't own a gun. The only gun I've ever owned was given to me by my employees when I left the Commissioner of Motor Vehicles position, which I gave to my grandchild who was a deer hunter. So I don't have a vested interest in gunship, but I do have a vested interest in our Constitution. And I think it's probably one of the most important things that we all remember. The freedoms that we fail to use, we tend to lose, and the freedoms we abuse, we tend to lose. Tonight, we are here for one reason, to protect those freedoms, the Second Amendment, which gave us the right to bear arms and protect our families. Now, I don't know how I would do if I was given a gun. I'd be sort of like that Jason was there and giving the guy a microphone with no battery. I'd probably have the gun taken away from me and used it on me. But that's not the question. The question is what our Constitution says and how the country was founded on godly principles. And one of those principles, as James Madison said, he gave us responsibility in a republic government. A republic government where the individuals have responsibilities. And one of those major responsibilities is protecting our God-given rights. And that's why I'm here tonight. Because this resolution sends a message to all of the elected officials, and I'm proud of Savannah Maddox being here tonight, and Chuck Carsborn and Walter were on my show yesterday, which I gave each of you a copy of that television show on public access, and I want to put a plug in for public access. I did the very first show in 1982 called Home Weatherization, and I've done over 1,000 shows since then on public access and in educating our public, not just about the Constitution, but all forms of matter and travel, promoting our state. So tonight, I ask for you to pass this resolution and help send a message across the state of Kentucky and across the United States of America that we stand up for the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms because it's part of our Constitution. God bless you and have a great day.
I would also ask, somewhat surprisingly, we have a good list, great comments from all. We really appreciate that. I don't know if there was anyone else out there who was in the hallway who would come in a little late, who not had a chance to sign up, but I want to give that last opportunity. So,
Your Honor.
yes, sir.
May I?
Sure.
My name is Greg Foreman. I'm a resident of Independence, Kenton County. Have been for many, many years. I go back as far as to Mr. Corsenborn and my mom used to date. This is an unpopular opinion. I understand this is a very contentious opinion, or I should say issue for a lot of people. I am a gun owner. I am a veteran of the United States Navy. I have my Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal for overseas service. But I'm against this resolution. The main reason why is that I feel that we should have common sense legislation for gun regulation. What happened in towns like Las Vegas, Newtown, it's going to come to our community if we do not stop a fetish fantasy for assault rifles. And that's my fear going into a Kroger or even a church and having something like that happen in our community. I feel that guns should be regulated the same as a car, insured if possible. There is a reason I cannot own a hand grenade or a rocket RPG device without extensive training, extensive licensing, and proof that I can use that device. I urge you, please, do not pass this resolution. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And with that, we're going to move on to the ordinance, the resolution, I should say. This is resolution 20-2 relating to the fiscal court declaring Kenton County a Second Amendment sanctuary. And I think we did publish that as well, and we handed it out as well. So with that, I would ask for a motion, if there is desire to have a motion to approve, or if you would like us to suggest we read it out now, or if you let's do that. So this is the actual text of our resolution related to the Kenton County Fiscal Court declaring Kenton County a Second Amendment sanctuary. Whereas the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of our nation, and whereas the Second Amendment to the Constitution states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas the U.S. Supreme Court has affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with service in the militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home, and whereas the U.S. Supreme Court has affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment against the states, and whereas the U.S. Supreme Court in the United States v. Miller of 1939 stated that firearms are not part of ordinary military equipment with use that could contribute to the common defense are protected by the Second Amendment. And whereas the Kenton County Fiscal Court is concerned about the passage of any bill containing language which could be interpreted as infringing upon the rights of the citizens of Kenton County to keep and bear arms, and whereas the Kenton County Fiscal Court wishes to express its deep commitment to the rights of all citizens of Kenton County to keep and bear arms, and whereas the Kenton County Fiscal Court wishes to express opposition to any law that would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of the citizens of Kenton County to keep and bear arms. And whereas the Kenton County Fiscal Court wishes to express its intent to stand as a sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights and to oppose within the limits of the Constitution of the United States and the Commonwealth of Kentucky any efforts to unconstitutionally restrict such rights. Therefore, be resolved by the Fiscal Court, Kenton County, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, and therefore be resolved that the Kenton County Fiscal Court hereby designates Kenton County a Second Amendment sanctuary in order to preserve for the citizens of Kenton County their rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States of America. And be it further resolved, the Kenton County Fiscal Court hereby expresses its intent to uphold the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Kenton County, Kentucky. And be it further resolved, the Kenton County Fiscal Court hereby declares its intent to oppose any infringement on the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms. And be it further resolved, the Kenton County Fiscal Court, through this resolution, hereby declares our rights, our freedom, and our liberty as guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. Section 2. This resolution is hereby approved and adopted in open session if it is moved and passed passed here in a moment. That's our resolution, and I do appreciate the reminder from our commissioner to read it out loud. And we do want to thank, on my personal behalf, Boone County Judge Executive Gary Moore had worked on this as well, and really submitted this as a suggestion text. He and his county, I believe, will bring it up to us at their fiscal court meeting, I believe, next week. So we did want to say thank you to him as well.
Can I ask a question? Sir, can I ask a question?
We normally don't, sir, I guess you don't.
That's fine.
Questions from the fiscal, from the public, I do appreciate it. We do need a motion to approve. We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other comment?
I just appreciate our legal staff, I'm assuming that they looked over.
Commissioner, I think your mic
I'm
might not
sorry.
be there.
There we go. I appreciate our legal staff as well looking over this, I'm assuming they did at length, and I feel comfortable with everything that has been presented tonight, so thank you all for being so diligent as well.
Very good. Any other comment?
I'll just add that, I'm proud to co-sponsor this, and second, I should say, this is just one of the main rights that I think are best protected on a local level. To watch the news these days, it's kind of like a circus anymore on a national level, and so our voices are best heard, whether it be this, or your right to free speech, or any of our given, or constitutional or God-given rights are best protected by those. And people who come to that, I appreciate it, the emails on both sides, trust me, nobody wants people who shouldn't have guns, but our rights need to be protected on a local level. I'm happy to say that.
And I would agree with both of your comments, and really appreciate the work that's been done on this issue from all parties. Really, it's good to have a responsible discussion and education about our Constitution, quite frankly. So, okay, we have a motion, second. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Saul. Yes. Commissioner Nienaber.
Yes.
Judge Knockelman.
Yes. Motion passes. So we have a resolution. So thank you to all. So those who were
Yay!
So I have some bad news for you. We have the rest of our meeting, which is fairly boring. We're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute recess and ask everyone if you would like to exit, feel free to do so, and enjoy this abnormally warm evening.
Young man, do you mind handing me my bag down there? Wait a second. 1, 2, and 3. Gotcha.
Now, dear, I said, can I please have my wallet back?
Wait a minute, I'm doing a video too. Now this is a video, and then 3. Well, these are 3 musketeers. I'll be daggone.
D'Artagnan here.
1, 2, 3. Gotcha. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha. Okay.
Any questions? Or just need a motion to approve?
No, I'm just here in case anybody had any questions.
You're on the ball.
Now, okay, I'll make the motion to approve it as presented.
I will second that.
Okay, the motion is second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Yes. Aye. Thank you so much.
Very good. That was easy. Thanks, Kate, for everything you do. Okay, item B, we have a presentation. I mean, Peter's going to be updating us on the work, she's doing the North Kentucky Office of Radical Policy. So welcome this evening.
Thank you for having me tonight. So I'm here to give my quarterly update, and I'm going to bring your attention to the screen as this is our new logo that we're rolling out. And we also have our new door hangers that I passed out to commissioners and our judges here. So just to remind everyone of who my board is, of course, we have Judge Knockelman, the other judges executive of Campbell and Boone counties, Director Kris, the Health District Director, Dr. Lynn Sadler, St. Louis Healthcare CEO Darren Holden, and our legislative liaison, Representative Ken Mosher. And our purpose, again, is to reduce the prevalence of substance use disorders in northern Kentucky and to serve as an advisor for the Boone, Kenton, and Camden fiscal courts. Our initiatives are our addiction helpline, and what we really organized this is my office took it over on March 8th. We brought it back from Addiction Services in Cincinnati to really make it part of the northern Kentucky infrastructure. And so we've been able to craft this as our deflection dispatch center. So really anyone that's dealing with these social issues of addiction, sometimes mental illness, or a dual diagnosis, we can deflect them to community-based services and treatment. We also serve as our quick response team hub, where we are coordinating the software, the data collection, the policies and procedures, and the training for 9 counties in northern Kentucky and 2 cities. We also are planning our coordinated community response plan, which we are calling 2020 plan, which will be released in just a few short weeks. And with that is a data dashboard, and I'm going to give you just a short preview this evening. And then also is our policy. In the last year and a half, we've been really working in organizational. How are we working with our nonprofits? How are we working to connect with folks? How do we get them into treatment? How do we get them assessments? How do we connect with them, follow up? And of course, we'll be working on local and state this year. Some of our initiatives, we're looking at medical marijuana, vaping, and then of course putting some guidelines around sober living. Pre-arrest diversion and deflection. The difference of this is right here. So when we're talking about pre-arrest diversion, we're talking about partnering with law enforcement, the front door. The deflection part is the back door. This is where we're partnering with community-based services. As we run into folks with substance use disorders and they break the law or they may be homeless, we find out they need housing, they need treatment, they need mental health. And so we want to deflect them to community-based services. This saves lives and it saves taxpayer dollars. We want to get them out of the jails. We want to get them into the healthcare that they deserve and really move them into the healthcare system, to not have them into the criminal justice system or to re-enter to the criminal justice system. And again, this is a public health approach to better public safety. And with this, I just want to just thank all of our law enforcement today. It is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and we cannot thank the law enforcement first responders that we work with enough. This is a slide, and usually in this presentation I say, oh, it's a little outdated, but what we're seeing from our folks reporting is that folks are using heroin. We've not seen a lot of heroin in the past few years. It's been fentanyl in the main side. We've seen a huge shift into that. It's one of the reasons our overdoses are down, but we are seeing heroin being reported as a drug of choice. And I'd like to show this slide because all of these issues are interconnected. And what's important about our office and the support from you all is that we are building this infrastructure so we can get folks the help that they need and get them to be self-sufficient. And with our helpline, we are no longer to treatment. So all the different aspects that we're working on is we can help folks file cases law, we can go to court with them, we can advise them on the next steps, we can help them get an assessment. We also help with treatment, whether that be detox or residential. Our go-to treatment facility is Transitions. It's our community-based treatment provider, and we have great relationships and have seen great outcomes from them. And I think I saw Jim here, so thank you, Jim. And also, we serve as an individual and family resource and referral guide. We get a lot of calls for frequently asked questions. Folks just don't know what to do. So we are able to guide them in a way that best fits them, because families are the experts in their own lives. We want to meet them where they are and give them the services that they need. We also look at the care continuum, NCO navigation, we answer criminal justice questions, and then also crisis intervention. And the no wrong door is we partner and we send staff at our syringe access exchange programs. We've connected over 12 people just in the last 2 months to treatment. Syringe access has a statistic of 5 times more likely to go into treatment. So we send folks there to connect them.
Amanda, how many was that in the past 5 months?
12.
12, that's great.
We also do that with QRT outreach. We do get the dispatch records for Kenton and Boone County, and we're working on Campbell. And I'll show a little bit of that data in just a minute. And we're also working with all of our nonprofits to where we're routing them. And we do get a few calls a month about folks that are homeless that will call on the weekends. And we have great partnerships with the emergency shelter, and we're very excited about the new plan coming about. A little bit of helpline data. As I said, we took this over in March. And so we've been tracking since then. So we've had 685 calls documented, and this is kind of the breakdown. Most of them are treatment assistance. So that is the majority of it, and then also frequently asked questions. We also have a fair amount of cases law, and then we do have some others that we just don't know how to categorize, as sometimes folks call and they're not usually asking for our assistance. In one example, we had a caller ask to see where they could find some drugs. That's not quite what we do. So that goes in the other category. So we have all kinds of variety of calls. We're not that kind of help. And we do get a fair amount of miscellaneous and spam calls, which is interesting. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of the data. This data dashboard has really come about just in the last 3 months. So I have some data to show you, and the goal here is to be able to have this database of data, and it's going to be public knowledge. There's hundreds of nonprofits, lots of people in this area working on this issue. We're all writing grants. We're very aggressive in our grants, and we're leveraging all of this money together. We're working as a team. So as we work on this data, this is just a snapshot of the helpline, but we're working with the health department, and we'll start working with some other partners to be able to really show. So if anybody's writing these grants, they can just go and get this data. What do the overdoses look like? What do our babies with NAS? How many do we have? How many folks are we getting into treatment? How many, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just a lot of data points that we're looking, that folks are needing this. And a lot of folks think that our office already has this information, but we don't have it yet. We can get it pretty quickly, but it's not at our fingertips. And to be aggressive and to go after these grants, we gotta have this data. We gotta be ready for them as they release. So this is a little bit that I want to show you. And if you'll hover over Kenton County for me, Sarah. Kenton County leads the calls with 199.
This data is from the...
This is from March, yeah, this is the helpline from March 8th to December 31st of 2019. And so we have it broken down by county, and this is only showing the 8 counties here. But in Kenton County specifically, we've had 17 cases law assistance, 6 calls about criminal justice, 44 about frequently asked questions, and then 110 treatment assistance. If you add this up, these numbers only come to 385, but there's another 300 calls that are coming from around the state, they're coming from out of state, or they're unknown. So we're putting in new techniques, some motivational interviewing, some different things we're working on to really get that zip code. And I even have it broken down by zip code, which I can share later. I just didn't want to take the time this evening. And then also I can just point out a few things here. We're tracking the amount of time we're spending on the calls, when the calls are coming in. Our high volume days are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and also from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., which is a little different than we would have expected. And most of our calls, the duration of the first call is under 5 minutes. And I do have some other data that I'm going to go through quickly that's not there. With those calls, of that 685 total, we had 1,222 interactions just for those calls. So that means we're following up, we're taking a step forward, we're finding more information, we're calling treatment providers, we're getting folks into assessments and things like that. So that's almost doubled. And I actually think that's a little bit low, so my team's going back and dissecting that to see if we can get that. With that, we've had 436 individual records and 32 self-reported overdoses. And with that, we also have 79 referrals and 22 connections. We're very deliberate in how we are tracking this. Just handing somebody a flyer or information, that's not a connection to treatment. We are making more handoffs. We really count ourselves as a treatment concierge service. So as somebody who's calling and looking for this treatment, I'm a person who has dealt with substance use disorder in my family, and when you're dealing with this, you're very stressed. You can't always see clearly. And I'm a person that lives in this world. And so we're able to do this for families, to be objective, to give them the information, and as they call. I'll give the example that, maybe Sarah's calling our helpline. And we say, Sarah, here are your options. Which way would you go? And so we give them all our options. They're calling, and then we give them, and then they decide. And we go from there. And then we start down our list of where they choose. And it might be, hey, Sarah, we're going to go call Jim at Transitions. And we do this warm handoff. We let Jim know that Sarah's coming in. We have same-day interventions. Like I said, Transitions is a fantastic partner. We can usually get people in within an hour, if they can get there. Which we have also won a grant, which we will have $7,500 for transportation to do this, and that'll start February 1st. But with that warm handoff, we're able to let them know, Jim knows Sarah's coming, and then I can tell Sarah, hey Sarah, Jim knows you're coming. He's waiting for your call. Can you call him in 5 minutes and finish the protected health information so we can finish this up? Get you right in, and if you'd like, we can meet you there, and sometimes we do. That's for someone who wants treatment. That's not always the scenario. Sometimes 50% of the folks calling are family members intervening on behalf of the person. So we're able to guide them through this process. And then also let them know that if their person is resisting this, we have some peer support folks on staff, and we work closely with our police social workers and our QRT members, where we can dispatch these folks right there. We just did it on Tuesday. We had a call from somebody who had left Isaiah's house. Their family was just lost. They didn't know what to do. He's begging for one more day. We're coaching them through them. Sister is saying, we're going to detox. He's going into residential. He won't answer the door. I said, take a step back. Remember, his brain's been hijacked. So we take that step back and let's figure it out. Take it one step at a time. They were able to locate him at a hotel in Florence. Just see if he'll answer the door. Answer the door. Take it one step at a time. Will he walk out of the hotel room? He walked out of the hotel room. Can you get him in the car? Will you get him there? We got him to the parking lot in Transitions, but he wouldn't get out. Transitions is willing to send their folks out to the parking lot. He decides he's not going to talk. We say, okay, take a minute. What if we brought someone who has dealt with substance use disorder in their personal life to talk with them? He wasn't willing to talk with someone with that treatment facility at that time, but we were able to dispatch one of our grant-funded peer support folks over to Waffle House with our Alexandria police social worker who works for our region. So we get them to Waffle House. The police social worker works directly with the sister, gives her legal options with Casey's Law, how to coach him through this. Our peer support talks him through the process. By the end of the day, we get him same day into an assessment at Sun. We move forward. He's starting IOP. He'll start sober living on Monday. This was a family that was lost just 4 hours before. That was Tuesday. That was a good day. It doesn't always work like that, but when it works, it works. And what I want to mention about Northern Kentucky is that we've built this infrastructure so this can happen within minutes and different options. If we want to go back to our thing, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, so just why do we want to promote recovery communities? Because that's what we're doing. It was really going to foster that community spirit and get folks into recovery. It saves lives, it reduces recidivism rates, and it's cheaper for everyone. We also want to provide person-centered, patient-directed health care. We're not handing out just phone numbers. Like I said, and I always say, hashtag more than a hotline. We are a linkage to folks. We are a treatment concierge, and we will walk you through. We're following up with folks at 30, 60, 90, and 120 days. And if they want to stay with us, we will. We're able to track once they get into treatment, once they leave, we get them a job, we get them a house, and we're able to show all of that data. And we'll be able to run those reports for you in the next few months. Those are just some resources I give this presentation to some different folks. With that, we're starting to train some St. Elizabeth social workers, some different folks doing this in the community, so we're all doing it in the same way. It needs to be compassionate care. We need to meet folks where they're at. We need to move these folks to the health care that they deserve. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Well, I tell you what, there's, if anybody didn't get a sense by this, but this connection that has probably never been this way in Northern Kentucky ever wouldn't be here without Kim's first work and Amanda's amazing work, partnership. And I have to call out again Jim Biden from Transitions. That organization, your organization, is nothing. It's never been as good as it is today. And the partnership you guys do with everybody else, when things are crazy, please know that we appreciate it. And you're saving lots of lives, so we appreciate it every day. So, Commissioners, I don't know if you have any questions or comments from